Today on the channel, my dad is back, and that only means one thing. The NECA Universal Monsters continue with the NECA Frankenstein Accessory Set.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here with a special guest today in this video. Dad, say hello.
Hello.
Dad, back again. Thanks for returning for another NECA Universal Monster unboxing. Always a good time. The people want more Tom Peterson. I heard you're thinking about starting your own YouTube channel.
Oh, I don't know. I'll think about that. It's hard to believe, but a continuing saga of Universal Monsters.
It just never ends, it seems like. It seems like every time. And there was a couple of month gap between you were on the show here, and then what do you know, we do Dracula, and one day later this comes in the mail. So
wow.
Just, Dad, can you come back over? And luckily you live just down the street, so it's not too big of a distance.
That's true. That's good.
That does work out. But today we've got something really special, something I'm very, very excited for here. NECA, of course, Universal Monsters. Of course, Frankenstein, but the Frankenstein Accessory Set. Very, very cool looking here. And I did pick this up at a new place I didn't know about, but boy, am I impressed, as this came to me extremely fast. I got this from DJC Collectibles, djccollectibles.com, of course. Use the discount code 8OFFDJC. You will save 8% on this. And man, I was looking at the DJC Collectibles website. And like I said, I wasn't aware of this website, so I was glad that this came to my attention because boy, oh boy, do they seem to get stuff very, very early. So they got a lot of stuff in stock. You're going to have to check it out later today. Cool. But I was very happy to see they had this bad boy in stock, as this hasn't really been hitting. And Dad, we unboxed the mummy version of this. Right. Gosh, Thanksgiving, maybe even before Thanksgiving.
Quite a while ago, you bet.
And if you guys have watched my figure hunts, of course on the channel every Friday, cheap plug there, the Mummy one is sporadically hitting targets right now. So there has been quite the delay from that Mummy one. So if you're looking for this Frankenstein one, man, get after it. That's the place to go. And like I said, I was shocked how fast this came. It did come from Canada, I should say that out there. So very, very cool. Happy to get this here. Of course, we're going to have in the future here on the channel, I have to think in the next couple months, the Dracula accessory set as well. So we'll stay tuned for that. So be ready for that one.
We'll do.
We're not done with Dracula yet. And of course, just the other day, they announced the black and white Dracula officially. That's coming in February or March. So a lot of Universal Monsters. You are just going to be a part of this YouTube channel. You might turn into a daily video one of these days.
May have to. I don't know. I'll rent a room.
You might have to. You might have to. But Dad, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So without further ado, let's look at the packaging on this one. Very cool packaging. Very, it kind of reminds me of like those old bottle kits type thing, wouldn't you say, kind of back in the day. It's kind of got that vibe to it.
Sure does.
I don't know. Universal Monster logo all over. You got Frankenstein strapped onto the table. You got the Frankenstein letters at the top. Glamour shot on the side. Oh, Frankenstein. He hates fire. He hates fire. You've never been a good fireman. We all know that. But looks good there. And you get the old mummy wrap in Frankenstein. I mean, when they were, taking the bandages off. Things like that with old Frank. And on the back right here, we got the whole set. What you get, more glamour shots, things like that. It doesn't look like there's any writing, any stories, anything like that. It does say it includes a lab table, a torch, bandaged monster head, table sheet, and backdrop. So we're going to have a backdrop like that mummy one we had. So that should be pretty cool. And then Frankenstein's monster sold separately. Obviously, there's a lot of options in the Frankenstein monster. And we'll bust out the Frankenstein monsters to compare this later on in this very video. And this is one of those ones, like, I don't keep all of my NECA packaging, but I'm keeping all my Universal Monster packaging. I'll probably keep this. What do you think? You going to pick this set up?
Well, let's take a look at it. The packaging is great, and it looks good behind the figures, but it looks like this allows you to just recreate several different scenes from the movie.
Oh my gosh. We might be taking this offline.
It looks like
it looks like it might be a good idea. We got a lot of stuff going on in here, so we got all the pieces to the table, I do presume. Dad, that looks like that backdrop with instructions and things like that. We also got the head. Plastic Prison is loaded up for this stuff. So yeah, we are going to take this offline, Dad. We're going to put this together, and we're going to have the Frankenstein accessory set back in a second. And we are back after a long period of time. I think that took about 2 hours to put this thing together, Dad. How long do you think it was? About 2 hours?
It reminds me of the old...
aircraft carrier?
Yeah. There's a lot of clips like that.
It was unbelievable how long this took. With our powers combined, this took forever to put together. Now, very nice quality here, but the plastic does feel like you're going to break it a few times.
You're afraid of that.
I was very afraid forcing in some stuff, but boy, then it clicks in real nice. I'm like, oh, it wasn't that hard. But it's not as brittle as you think it is. I guess that's probably a fair assessment.
That's true.
It feels a little bit brittle, but it wasn't. But a lot of rods being done twist, slid through, got to line up perfectly, getting all the things lined up. It was a lot more work than I anticipated. But all good things come to those that wait.
Yeah, it was very cool. It's very cool looking.
It's very cool looking.
All the dials and...
But yeah, I'm glad you were here to assist, because I had a couple of points in the middle where I was about ready to throw it. I don't know if you saw my Power Ranger review that one time where I threw the figure across the room. I just had enough of it. I almost got there. I'm
only 1 credit short of having my engineering degree.
I thought
if I had that credit, this would have gone a lot smoother.
And you said, I think, in deep retirement, when the golf game is totally over, that's when you're going to get that final credit.
Follow up with that.
You know, you get the law degree, you get to, then you'll move on to the engineering degree. Boy, oh boy. And I'm, of course, one away from a film. So very similar knowledge here. Engineering, film, I mean, basically Renaissance men.
Good we could do this together. It made up for the lack of the credits.
It really did. It really did. So we got this together. Just be patient with it. It does take some time. Takes a little longer than we thought it was going to be. But we did get it together. It wasn't as much as put the tomb on top of the mummy's tomb and off to the races.
Some poor eyesight on my part. It's probably give NECA more credit.
Well, we do get a background here. We'll start off going through some of these things in the background. Very, very cool, of course. Now, what would you call that? The science lab, mad scientist lab?
The laboratory where he was created, I'm sure.
And then, of course, you can just plug that
right in front.
Right there in front. But yeah, it does look good. Of course, you're setting up your shelf. Going to look really, really nice with your figures. You do get the beautiful sheet, and man, high quality sheet right here. I mean, this is very similar to Dracula's cape, as we said. Very, very nice quality. Of course, you drape it over the monster on the table, right over there, like we see in the movie, of course. Right. But very, very nice. Just don't spill on it. Don't use it as a handkerchief. Don't blow your nose in it. It is a nice white one there. And we do get a couple other accessories before we bump into the table here. Now, we do get this. What would you call this? I guess
a towel that hangs on the side there.
It just hangs. So, you know, the professor, Dr. Frankenstein working hard and stuff, he wipes his brow on it. A little yellow. Looks like he could use a washing.
Yeah.
He could get after this. But a little bit of point of accessory, a point of something different there. Then we do get a torch, of course, you know, and the torch shown a lot throughout the movie, I guess, at the end.
A lot of torches.
It always reminded me back in the day, you know, when I had to do payroll, when I had a bunch of employees back in the day. It was a great time. It was a great time having employees, let me tell you. I kind of do, I have a stressful job. I don't know if you were aware of this.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty stressful, but I don't have any direct reports. So it's a nice kind of thing. I'm only in charge of my own world.
That's
I have to make up for so that's kind of nice. But back in the day, and I'll never forget it, the day Elle was born. Oh, it was a cold February, snowy February. I got there in time, luckily, to the hospital. I don't know if you remember this story.
I remember that. Yeah.
Of course, I was eating Funyuns, and to this day, Angie can't stand Funyuns anymore. She told me to get out of the room with those Funyuns, and now it is Elle's favorite snack.
Whoa.
Could be something to that. Could be something. Story for another day. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know how you look at it, but Elle was born on a day I had to do payroll. And if you didn't do payroll, and of course I was the only one that could do payroll, if you didn't do payroll, people didn't get paid. So I had 100 employees that wouldn't have got paid. And I don't know, as much as they're probably saying, Kyle, congratulations, you just had your first kid, they probably wouldn't be real happy when Friday rolled around and they didn't get paid. So I said, Angie, hey, great to have this baby here. I'm happy to have it. I got to go home. I got to do payroll. I'll be back. And I did go back. To my credit, I went back. But I remember saying, if I don't, they're going to be out front of my house with pitchforks and torches. Oh. That's exactly what happened. So long story. Took a while to get there. But
quite a lead into that torch.
Quite a lead into the torch. But, you know, sometimes you got to do it. You got to do it. Then another cool one here is one I really, really do enjoy is kind of the wrappings of the Frankenstein's monster here. So he's got all mummy wrappings here. So it's an extra head. Now they're telling you, you better buy a Frankenstein figure. But honestly, I don't know if anybody would buy this if they didn't have the figure.
Probably not.
You probably wouldn't be buying this set anyways. But it is another choose your own adventure with heads. So you can use this with your Frankenstein. We're going to bring out some Frankensteins later. And I think I have an idea for this for you collectors on a budget. Oh, we're all on a budget these days. Fixed incomes. You know about it.
I do.
You know all about those fixed incomes. When you're retired, fixed incomes. But very cool. I should mention this does fold up. So you can't take this away if you don't want it anymore. I'm going to put it off to the side right here. But very, very cool with the table. Now, there's not a lot of gimmicks to this table. There's not really a lot going on to this table. But you do get some of the rods and reels. I don't know about that. But you do get stuff. So they do move around. But the table doesn't go up. I mean, it looks like you could put the foot on this and you could, rise it with the monster. You can't do any of that. It's just a plain table, all in a silver mechanical, very sterile-like, very operating table-like. But it does have the straps down here. It does have that. And this kind of reminds me of the strapping down. It reminds me of when I was, first grade, second grade, when Kyle had to get his tonsils, my adenoids, and I had to get tubes in my ear. Oh, I'll never forget it, getting all that stuff. And I got it all done at one time. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember puking blood like a madman, too, after that. But the one thing I remember about this is, I remember they wheeled me, it must have been after surgery, they wheeled me into a room, and I was there on a gurney type thing like this, and I was all by myself. And I remember coming to, and I remember saying, Dad, Dad, Dad. And they put me back under. They're like, oh my gosh, he's waking up. And I still vividly remember that. And I remember being in all kinds of pain. And I'm pretty sure they strapped me down in something like this at the time.
Probably.
Just mutilating young Kyle's body. They were tearing. I don't even know what an adenoid is, but they were taking them out of me. They're probably somewhere on somebody's desk in a jar somewhere. And then the old tonsils. Of course, everybody had to get tonsils out back in the day. Do they still do that?
Not very often.
I don't know. I miss my tonsils.
I had mine out too, but
do you ever
you don't
some
hear
days?
That much.
No, you don't. And my kids never. They never get rid of their tonsils. No. But I don't know, I feel like a piece of me is missing after all these years.
Well, it definitely is.
It really is. So, yeah. So, if you've ever got your tonsils, adenoids, if you're old school like me, did you get your adenoids out?
No.
What is an adenoid?
Something in your nose.
That explains. Is that why I can't breathe out of my nose and I can't smell? Yeah, I can't breathe out of my nose and I can't smell. And that's probably, we should sue. We should sue the doctors.
I think the statute of limitations probably
there's always a lawyer ready to take that case somewhere. There's always a lawyer. Yeah. But anyways, it's a very crude medical table here. This is a table you don't want to be strapped down to. I think we'd all agree on that. But you do got the bands here to lock the monster in. They remove very, very easy. You just line them up, stick them in very, very easily there. But you got 2 down here for the feet. You got the midsection, of course. You got 2 for the arms. Then you got his headrest right there. You got a nice frame out on the bottom. But very, very rudimentary, very, very scary mechanical to it. But it does work for Frankenstein, and it is a good accessory piece. Of course, you get the science lab, but this is a bit of a, I don't know if 2-in-1 is the right word, but of course, The Bride of Frankenstein is coming out later this year, I think in June. Be a perfect birthday present for me. You might add that to the list. I might need that for my birthday. But you could, of course, use her with this as well, I would imagine. So a little bit of a twofer there, so we'll see what happens with that. But The Bride of Frankenstein coming sooner rather than later. But let's get some Frankensteins out here for comparison. Now, what Frankenstein would you put on here? The black and white one or the colored one? I don't know.
I don't know. The black and white one will look good with the silver table.
It almost is one of those things where you really choose which one you prefer, I guess, is what it's going to be. But I'm going to pull these out real quick. I'm going to try to put them in there rather quickly. I don't know if that's going to... It might take a little bit of work to get him on this table. You got to pull all these things off, which isn't the end of the world. It's not like they don't clip in really easy. He's got the headrest there, so you lock him down. And then you have to lock these. Oh boy, here we go. Can I get that in? You got to line them all up, of course. Maybe. And there you go. So it locks in the arm. I don't know. I don't know if people want to sit here all day watching me do this, but of course you just put him on there and it will lock him down. We'll get it for the nice glamour shots there. But very, very cool how it locks him in. So the black and white one, of course, we got the color Frankenstein. It really does come down to personal preference on this. So really which one you would prefer as far as your Frankensteins on there. But here is my pro tip, saving some money tip of the day here, is you do get an extra head with him, of course. If you really wanted to use this, we do know NECA does release the glow-in-the-dark Frankensteins. Now, Dad, we filmed this video quite some time ago, these glow-in-the-darks. They are not on traditional YouTube. They will be on Patreon. This will release down the way a little bit here. We'll try to space these videos out a little bit. But we did unbox the 3 glow-in-the-dark. You also had joined me for the Creature from the Black Lagoon unboxing. So those will all be up on Patreon, traditional YouTube one day. So stay tuned for those. But you could pull this head off like so, and you could pop this one on here. So if you want a cheaper Frankenstein just to be able to use this head with, you can get this at your Target stores for about $20 instead of paying around $37 to $40 for these guys. So a little bit of a pro tip right there if you want to do that. And I think that works good enough for what it is.
You want to recreate this scene? That would be a good way to do it.
I think that's pretty easy to do it that way. So that is a pro tip. And I did bring, I guess let's stick this, or I'll take this, stick those down here. We'll stick this. And I did bring an old school favorite, Dad. I don't think we unboxed this on the channel back in the day, but it is, of course, Diamond Select. We all remember Diamond Select, but they did some Universal Monster figures. I got the Creature from them, but I also got the Frankenstein back in the day. So we got Frankenstein in his table with the Diamond Select. Now this, not a lot to this. This is really more akin to a statue than an action figure here. You got arms that move, no waist, no legs. You got boots that move. Head doesn't even move, so really a statue. And then you get a table here, and a much different table between these two. I would say for sure this one is a lot more plain Jane than the NECA table. A lot of more. There's a big base on the NECA one. This one doesn't have a base to it. It's got some of the turnstile things like that, but nowhere even close to the detail of the NECA one. So I mean, if you're an old school collector, you have this one, you could probably retire this on your shelf and move over to the NECA version here, as the NECA one is. It is a little bit frustrating in the build. We'll call it frustrating. But once you get there, hey, you get there.
You're only going to do it once.
You're only going to do it once.
Once you're done, you're done.
It's one of those things that I don't know if you ever want to take apart. I sure as heck do not want to take it apart, but I do like it. So
right, very nice.
It's so. Do you think you'll add this to your shopping list? Will you probably pick one of these up?
I might. I could very well, yeah.
I think he will. I think if not, you'll get it for Father's Day or your birthday, maybe. If you don't. So one way or another, you're going to get one of these.
Hold on for that.
You might, and I'll hold on for the Princess or the Bride of Frankenstein for my birthday.
Oh, good deal.
We do a little swap. But there it is. But yeah, definitely an improvement on the old Diamond Select version is the NECA one. Like I said, choose your own adventure which Frankenstein you want to use. And of course, the pro tip on the glow-in-the-dark one, if you want to grab that. You still have not grabbed these glow-in-the-darks.
No, I haven't.
Playing the long game. He's playing that long game. He's waiting for a $5, $10 deal down the line.
You could use them for a nightlight or something.
You could. They actually glow up a lot better than I thought they were going to. But you can have a Frankenstein convention here. I wonder if one day we'll actually get Dr. Frankenstein in this line. You would think that would make sense.
Well, if you're going to recreate a whole scene, we're doing it here with the table and the bandages and whatnot, and you'll do it again with the Bride of Frankenstein. So anything's possible.
It could be, because I mean they're running out of ideas. They're going to the London After Midnights. They're going to the Phantom of the Opera. Of course, the Creature's coming. You're going to have a black and white and color version of everything. But I would think Dr. Frankenstein, maybe even Van Helsing down the road, maybe possibly. I don't know who else. Hunchback, maybe. Renfield, maybe. There's a few more they can get. I just don't know how well they'll sell. That's the problem on some of those guys. People don't want really just a regular old Joe out there, but you never know. You never know. But Dad, pretty good. What do you give it? Do you give it a thumbs up, thumbs in the middle?
I do. I give it a thumbs up. It's
thumbs up.
It'd be nice in anyone's collection.
Once you get through the challenging aspect, I think it does deserve a thumbs up. And if you're a Frankenstein collector, it's a no-brainer for you. But between the soft sheets, the accessories, the backdrop, and the table, pretty good in my book, and sounds like pretty good in Dad's book.
Right.
But what say you guys out there on YouTube? What about your book? Is it still yet to be written? Finish up what you think, but let me know in the comments if you're picking this up, you're playing the long game. Like I said, I got this from DJC Collectibles, 8 off DJC. You can save 8%. I don't know of many places that have this in stock. I sure as heck know the stores don't have this in stock yet. So if you're after this, that is going to be the place to go.
And where are they located?
Up in Ottawa, Canada.
Ottawa Red Blacks. I'm a huge Canadian football fan.
Well, there you go. See, he loves the CFL.
Go Stampeders.
He's a Stampeders guy, so it's interesting. You love the Canadian Football League, but the NFL, you dabble with some Packers, I think, right?
I always root for the underdog.
Yeah, he roots. But you love the CFL. There's a lot of times, Kyle can't come over. The Grey Cup's on today. So,
that's true.
So you Canadians up there, shout out. My dad's just an honorary Canadian at the end of the day, and I'm hoping maybe later this summer we take a little road trip. I think Thunder Bay, Ontario is the closest Toys R Us to us.
Oh, wow.
We could go. It'd be just, we'd fall at the door. We'd cry. We'd probably have that same setup where you go in, you go to the right, then you go to the left, and it weaves you around. Oh boy, you Canadians. I know a lot of the Canadians complain about their Toys R Us's, but man, it's better to have a Toys R Us than no Toys R Us. I can tell you that much right now. But Dad representing Canada today here with some talks.
Oh, wow.
I've always been more of a Calgary guy, but you're more of an Ottawa guy, obviously.
Well, no, I follow Calgary and I follow the Saskatchewan Rough Riders also.
Oh, a Rough Riders guy. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. So Dad, a little Canadian knowledge. He knows his Canada, that's for sure. He knows. You know all points in North America there.
Yeah,
So perfect. Well, you guys let me know if you're picking this up in the comments down below. You know where to get this as of right now. Don't forget to like this video. Every like puts a smile on my dad's face, so make sure you hit the old thumbs up. Don't forget about the Patreon for early access to videos like this, bonus content, exclusive content, giveaways, Q&As. You name it, a lot going on over the old Patreon channel. And I said, we got a glow-in-the-dark NECA set, and we got the Creature from the Black Lagoon Jada toys my dad and I did. Those will be on the Patreon here in the next couple of days. I don't know when they're going to go to traditional YouTube. It might be down the road. Try to space some of these out. We can't give Dad every day on the channel. We got to spread the love out because there's going to be a little gap. But we will be back for Dracula. Is looking like next. He will be the black and white. It's probably the next time you'll be here, I'm guessing.
I'm just in danger of being overexposed.
Yeah, danger, just so close. Well, and we know all about your TikTok channel that got shut down as well. The Chinese took it over. They stole. Yeah, it's very sad because there were some of the sickest dance moves I've seen in a long time.
And I stole those moves from James Brown.
Oh, well.
But you can't say I stole them. He let me have
it. He passed it off in the will, I think.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like he passed me the cape gimmick. And one of these days, we're going to start finishing every video over here, and somebody's going to walk from the side and try to put the cape.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to be one of these, and they're going to say, no, I'm going to throw the cape off. Please. And I'm going to get back at it. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep rambling on. That's the way it's going to go in these videos. So we're taking a little bit from James Brown, the hardest working man in show business. That's the way you got to be. So there it is, Dad. We won't look for you at TikTok, but we'll see what other future things. Hopefully for the next Dracula video, you'll have some future plans of what's going to go. He may have a Patreon exclusive spin-off show coming very soon where Tom's thoughts on figures. They're going to be quick little hits, maybe like 1-minute videos, but they might be a Patreon exclusive. It could be a nice retirement gig for you. We'll see what happens.
Good.
So there it is, Frankenstein, the NECA accessory set for my dad. I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.